Welcome back to Joe's Astrology. We're talking Mars and the signs. And we're doing Mars in Aquarius. Mars in Aquarius, that's what I have. I have Mars in Aquarius at 29 degrees. And I'm reading from a book here. And I guess there probably should be lots to say here because if my mind is working well, I will have a lot of personal experiences with Mars and Aquarius. Mars in Aquarius will correlate to a soul that desires to actualize its overall life purposes on its own terms. Now, why is that? Mars, Aquarius, Uranus, independence, isolation, detachment. I think there's a number of reasons. Certainly those are the reasons. Mars is independent as well. Think of this Mars-Uranus combination. And see, it really depends on the person. It always depends on the person, their whole chart. But specifically in this case, it depends on if they're more in tune, you could say, with Saturn or Uranus. You won't know until you talk to the person. I think it can go back and forth. With me, it's probably a little bit of both. But I definitely, for sure, as life has gone on without astrology, and if I look at my life, I go back and forth between accepting this and fighting against it. And most of it has to do with money. If I could work out the money, then I would definitely actualize my life on my own terms. But the money has always been an issue for me in particular. But I think as life goes on, I get closer to the end of my life, I think I will be able to finally realize this and accept it and actualize it. So if you have Mars in Aquarius, it's not necessarily that. I think my cousin. My cousin has Mars in Aquarius. Just to give you a different example. She's a school teacher, and last time I talked to her, she's been in the school system for probably 20 years, and I don't think there's any sign that she's going to actualize her life purposes on her own terms. However, I will say this: she's at a point. Last time I spoke with her, she's at a point in her career where she has more say and she can probably get away with more. And last time I spoke with her, she was complaining about the parents and this and that, and kind of like fighting against the parents, and she's getting away with that. So just an example of a Mars and Aquarius person who, even though works with the system, you could say a school teacher is kind of like doing their own thing in a way, but at the same time, they still have rules that they have to follow, etc. And I think some of them, like her with the Mars and Aquarius, she's getting away with more than maybe other people who are in the same position wouldn't get away with. So let's continue on here. In order for this to occur, the soul will create a personality that is energized, Mars, to detach from the immediacy of circumstantial life. This detachment is all-inclusive relative to the soul's family of birth, its peer group, and the society in which it is born. Through detachment, the soul is then able to objectively survey the nature of the values and beliefs that define the current structures of consensus reality. That reminds me of more of this person as well. I think in the age that we live in now, people like her are very liberal as well. And I think of her kids, and that it's possible that in today's world that people are getting away. People are living more of this Aquarius life, or they have these Aquarius opinions that they wouldn't be able to typically, maybe say 100 years ago. In this way, the soul will aggressively rebel against any external pressure to conform to the expectations of parents, peer group, or society. Early in life, the soul will manifest this dynamic through an awareness of what it is not. Progressively, as the Mars and Aquarius soul matures, the awareness of what is not will transform into an awareness of what it is as a unique individual. I've had this experience, many experiences where I was being forced to discover what I'm not through the interface with these people and progressively see myself for the unique individual that I am, and the understanding that I'm not like these people, and they're not going to be like me ever. Accomplishing self-definition through the values and beliefs that are unique to and reflective of its specific individuality. Mars in Aquarius will gradually create an entire lifestyle reflective of its instinctual feeling of uniqueness. Mars in Aquarius reflects a soul that desires progressive transformation, leading to an ever-increasing realization and definition of its individuality. As such, the Mars in Aquarius soul will be characteristically unpredictable. The instinct to transform and grow is so intense with Mars in Aquarius that it will even appear to rebel against itself, to cyclically and continually change the very conditions that it has just created for itself. I've done this multiple times. I've quitted jobs. I can't even recall how many jobs I've quit within the first 2 weeks. So if anyone out there has had that experience, you're not alone. And I will say that this can be, Mars and air signs, depending on what degree. This can be Mars in aspect to Uranus. I know someone who has a Mars in conjunct to Uranus in an air sign, and definitely she has shown some of these qualities, or has been through this struggle somewhat early in her life. Mars in Aquarius reflects an instinct to experiment with different ways of being. It sees life as an experiment. As a result, the Mars in Aquarius soul will also desire to create an essential courage in other people to break free from the status quo. You see that there, Mars, very empowering. Mars is very empowering in any sign that it's in, specifically to the sign's characteristics. And here, it's very empowering to people who are trying to break free from the status quo. This is not necessarily, I think it's a good thing, but in actuality, you can get in trouble doing this, or you will get in trouble doing this, because you think you're helping people and empowering them, but they are afraid, and when their fear kicks in, then they will kick back, and they will, in the face of the consensus, they will start to attack you, even though deep down they want you to help them. For some, this will trigger feelings of comfort, and create an instinctual defensiveness. For others, it will trigger an uneasy excitement because of the possibilities that Mars in Aquarius soul stimulates within them. See, there you just said, for some, this triggers feelings of discomfort. It's like, whoa, it's like, why are you forcing me out of my comfort zone? I may talk about these things, but I don't want to actually tell other people. I might talk about them with you, but I don't want everyone to know that. I don't want to actually take action on those things. So annoying, this right here. Such souls are energized to radically transform the present life conditions of themselves, others, and society to reflect the future that they instinctively understand and sense, even when most others do not. It is in these ways that the Mars in Aquarius soul actualizes its core evolutionary and karmic intentions. I don't know if you want to read all of this because I'm not feeling well. Sexually speaking, Mars in Aquarius reflects a soul that desires to experiment with all possible ways of being sexual. This includes the possibility of detaching from the sexual instinct itself to be asexual or celibate. I've heard someone with similar characteristics use these words, celibacy. I have personally refrained from all sexuality completely for almost a year in my life before I even knew about astrology or any of that. And so interesting to see that. The instinct to rebel from current cultural, social customs or morals leads to such souls into considering different ways of being sexual that many others would judge as kinky, weird, or bizarre. So it's kind of like interesting how it can go to that degree. It's like this person has a very high control over once if they become more aware of all this, has a very high control over their sexuality. It can go, can run the spectrum. You can use your imagination. As I said, it runs the spectrum, really. I'm not going to get into all of these. The unique gift that Mars and Aquarius soul has is to stimulate and encourage the desire for sexual creativity in their partners, to stimulate desires buried within the unconscious of their partners. As a result, the Mars and Aquarius soul desires partners that manifest the courage to be different in all kinds of ways, including the courage to sexually experiment. As life evolves, Mars and Aquarius soul must embrace its opposite, Leo. This means to fully creatively actualize that which is unique and different in them. This is the Aquarian age. The polarity of Aquarius is Leo. And one thing I would say about with the internet and what I think with my experience on the internet and where this is all headed with the Leo, that more people are going to be encouraged to creatively actualize what is unique and different about them, and they're going to use the internet to do that. However, no one's going to see their stuff. If you have to really, when you really think about it, I mean, you could become more popular, more famous, and some people might see your stuff, and it could also take maybe many years before many people see your stuff. But it's not the point of being famous, of what you may think. With the Leo polarity, that everyone's going to get famous. It's not even possible. If you think of majority of people going online and showing what's unique and different about them, it's impossible for everyone to get all the attention and get famous. And I think as the internet becomes more popular, people are going to have to accept that the real benefit of this, it's not being seen, it's transforming the inner self. Because I can tell you from my own experience of having a couple different YouTube channels, what this has done for my confidence and this idea of embracing what's unique and different in them and being comfortable with that. This is a platform, an impetus to actually do that, because you can't do it. You wouldn't be able to do it in the real world. Not without being more likely than not shut down. Here, you just get stupid comments. There could be some other things can happen, but for the most part, you might just get stupid comments. So that's what I see with the Aquarius and Leo polarity. It also means learn the difference between constructive rebellion and rebellion that is counterproductive or exists only for its own sake. Some, might learn these things too. This idea of the things that you're talking about, you're not getting the attention, you're not getting the views. You learn that how can I make this actually relevant? How can I make astrology relevant to people? How can I use it for a purpose of actually helping people rather than just being someone who's an astrologer and who's rebelling against the consensus. Actualizing for all it means that God has given them some unique ability, capacity, or gift that has the potential effect to be able to move various areas of life forward depending on the nature of their evolutionary condition. Actualizing this unique ability will create some relative degree of acclaim or recognition from society or their peer group, Leo. This is a necessary evolutionary development and lesson, because all too often these souls have had at least one recent prior life in which they felt invalidated for who they are. Now, this is more specific to the Mars and Aquarius, that this can be important for them to embrace the Leo polarity so that they do get the recognition that they deserve for this unique, especially someone like me at 29 degrees. For me, I'm not so sure that it will occur with astrology, but it should occur in other areas of my life, that I am definitely a very unique individual in this in this industry. To receive recognition or acclaim for their unique abilities becomes a positive and necessary counterpoint to that experience. And I said before, Leonardo da Vinci has Mars in Aquarius. I think I said in the Mars and Leo video that he has Mars in Leo. Maybe it is Mars in Aquarius. And I talked about the Last Supper painting and how it's interesting how he put, he kind of made himself in that painting into this Leo person going into like something that's famous. Because if he would do what he really wanted to do, no one would look at it. No one would look at the painting. But he created this Last Supper painting, put astrology in it, and he's able to be that Aquarius person and kind of rebel against the consensus, but at the same time he's getting all the recognition for it. So if you haven't seen that, check out my video on the Last Supper painting. Very interesting. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Mars in Pisces.